Kids are back to school, and that means homework, quizzes, and tests are back as well. And for many parents, it also means stress and anxiety about getting it done, especially when it comes to math. Math meltdowns are all too common. So Dr. Aditya Nagrath created a program called Elephant Learning, and he's here to tell us how you can help your young students with it. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know what it is about math, but math has always been kind of the anxiety-inducing subject, it seems like, for decades. Why is that?
Well, it's because there's a language gap that occurs at kindergarten. So what we learned was that 4 out of 5 students start kindergarten unprepared for the kindergarten curriculum. And really what they're supposed to know coming into kindergarten is the quantities to 10. But the gap is that many parents, and including myself before I started this project, thinks counting to 10 is saying the numbers 1 through 10. But if you're just saying them out loud, you might not have understanding behind it. Whereas kindergarten means, give me 10 things, the child is able to slide over 10 things and stop on 10. So they're showing that they truly understand what that number means. So what ends up happening then is that they kind of continue to move along even though maybe they don't truly get it, to first, second, third grade before, flags are raised and we start to say, you know what, maybe we should stop and slow down with these students.
Right.
And because of that, the student doesn't understand the teacher. And when you don't understand what's happening in the classroom, you start to have anxiety around that subject.
That makes sense. And, in some ways it's not fair to parents. Not all of us are trained teachers. So I can, get you to count, but I may not understand as a parent how to show you what it means. So this is where Elephant Learning comes in. Tell us about the program.
Absolutely. So what we've done is we've taken the most effective activities at teaching early age mathematics, and we've combined that with adaptive algorithms so that we're keeping track with the student. But we've also put teacher training on the report side. So you as the parent can go in and see, what is it that my student is working on?
Okay.
Why? And how can I help outside the system if I want to?
So you are teaching parents to teach, which is great, because again, we don't innately know how to do that. What makes this math tutorial program different than the other ones out there?
So what we're really doing is we're focused on teaching mathematics as a language, because then we can fix that issue that I was talking about earlier with the anxiety. If the student is able to go through our program and then in 3 months understand the teacher in the 3rd grade classroom, well, now math goes from something that produces anxiety to something that's fun, because you're learning new methodologies around subjects that you're kind of already familiar with.
Okay, and so age-wise, who would be qualified and using this program?
Yeah, we cover from counting through algebra. And on average, children in our system learn about 1.5 years of math over the course of 10 weeks when they use just 30 minutes per week.
Wow, that's a huge statistic. And is that simply because you're understanding how to teach the concept rather than just put the words out there?
We're using the most effective activities, and I can tell you more about that if you'd like to hear about that. But also, we're focused on the essential topics. So like, you can't really understand multiplication unless you understand what addition is, because it's repetitive addition. And so we make sure that they have that strong foundation in those essential topics so that they can walk into 3rd grade understanding the teacher, even though maybe they haven't gotten all the topics.
So you're getting caught up if you struggled in those early grades. So this is really for everybody, for the youngest ones to get that great foundation. I heard you say algebra. That's very stress-inducing in my house. It's been a struggle for the high school kids. So can I take an older student and get them onto Elephant Learning to learn these tougher tasks?
Yeah, we've taken students like 15, 16 years old, maybe even adults who said we want to catch up. And we send them through our program, and our algebra primer really does help the student kind of understand what's actually happening, whereas most of the times you're taking an algebra class and it's all about solve for X, because that's the most complicated conversation they can have while teaching this subject. And so like, by teaching algebra as a language, now you really truly understand the game of what's happening in the classroom. So when you go into a geometry, or you go into a trigonometry, or even a calculus, right? You kind of understand that it's not necessarily about solving these problems, but rather, can I understand what's being communicated? And then also solving the problems is a nice thing to have for
confidence,
Well, different cognitive abilities. That type of problem solving is a little bit different than, can I understand the language and can I understand what's happening?
And listen, as the parent trying to help with homework, by the time we get to algebra, most of us are out of our league. It's just been years since we've done it ourselves, and I know they change the way it's taught too. So you're providing a basis that really everyone can use. All right, tell me about the feedback. What are the kids saying? What are the parents saying?
Well, a lot of kids find it fun. Some kids, they have math anxiety. They're not going to be tricked by this, but you know.
Right. We can make
teach
it
them
fun.
We teach them to put the ball in the hoop, so to speak.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents report that their student now enjoys math class. So that's a big win for us. But we've had students that have learned years of math in just a couple of months. We've had students that have learned 4-year-olds that have gotten to subjects as advanced as fractions and decimals and percentages. And we've had 12-year-olds that are testing out at the 3rd grade level that have caught up in 3 months. It's just all across the board.
It is wonderful.
Yeah,
it
we've
really
had over 150,000 students come through the system. So we've got almost every story that you can imagine.
This is such a help for parents, for teachers, for everybody. Math doesn't have to be a struggle. There are wonderful resources out there just like this. So empower your students to succeed in math. You can go to elephantlearning.com. We'll be right back.